Hi, everyone. Let me know if you can hear me as you're joining. Sorry about that. I am trying to get this set up right. Sorry. There we go. I think that's better. Give me just a minute while I get everything ready. Please let me know if you can hear me. Sorry about all that. Let's see. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. And let me know if you can hear me. I am going to make it bigger so that I can work with this. Hi, Lorna. Can you hear me? Oh, wait. I'll be able to hear that. Okay. Hi, guys. I won't be able to type. I'm going to be working on the screen. This is like the best setup I can do. Hi. Okay, perfect. Thank you guys for letting me know. This is all a new setup. I'm sorry I can't show my face because I don't have like the option to keep turning my camera, turn it back around the way I have this set up. I'm trying to get it as easy as possible for you guys. So welcome everyone. I'm just going to get started. Lorna, I'm so happy that you're here. Is it Aniko? I'm sorry, I'm seeing you guys a real little screen. So Aniko, I'm used to my big computer. Aniko. And then Aries. Thank you guys for coming in. Appreciate it. So we have a lot to talk about. And instead of doing the meditation, I figured we need to talk about this stuff. I'm going to move my screen. So this is today's date on the 16th. Just kind of want to go over what's going on. We have a lot coming, especially like in the next week. And then we got a storm of retrogrades coming. So now is the time to move forward. Now is the time. I know everybody's scared. I know some people don't like change, but it is the time to move, because if you guys remember what happened last summer when we were trying to make stuff go forward and it wasn't moving and we were frustrated, but it's because we hadn't made complete decisions about what we want to do. Now is that time to get very, very clear. You don't necessarily have to move forward. It should come to you to make those decisions. But what you want to do is you want to be clear about the decisions that you're making, about when something comes to you as an opportunity. You want to be able to say yes, 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 because we're about to go into that same sort of energy with the retrograde, and we don't want to do it like we did the last time. We want to be really clear so that yeah, we're going to pivot here, we're going to pivot there, but we've got a lot of planets going retrograde till the end of, I think it's the second week in February. That's when we finally get relieved of all the retrogrades. Like it's going to be pretty intense. So today, I just kind of want to show you guys what's going on over here. If you guys remember, this is Venus, and it is going to. You guys like my little sticky? That's David helping me. So Venus, I want to put this over here. Hold on. I want it this way. Ah, it keeps moving. Hold on. You guys have to bear with me. Okay, now we can move this here. So Venus, remember we had this solar eclipse here. You see all of these. Remember the sun, Chiron, Mercury, the north node. So the sun, remember the sun always shines brightly. It's going to illuminate. It's your ego. It's you seeing clearly. It's clearing things up for you. We have that Chiron moving through this north node. We've now past that solar eclipse, so opportunities should be coming towards you guys. This isn't any work that you have to do. You've already done the work. This is just, oh, when something comes, you don't get scared and you just do it, right? You're like, yeah, I did want to manifest that. Yeah, I was thinking about that back then. Yeah, that I was thinking about that this winter and last, in the fall. That's the north node. These opportunities should be coming to you with Mercury. That's why I'm saying, oops, sorry. With Mercury, that's why I'm saying that you had, you should be getting news. You should be getting things that you see, opportunities that come up. Like all of a sudden somebody comes to you and says something and you're like, yeah, I did want to do that, kind of like that. That's the processing. Or even you could see a situation that you hadn't seen before where Mercury is, now that we're through that north node or going through that north node, Mercury wants to give you and help you process that, where you're like, you know what, that was a pattern that I had. I don't want to do that anymore. Now that this opportunity is coming, I'm going to do it a different way, right? That's how clear I want y'all to be. I don't think that you're not clear. I just want you to remember the things that you have been trying to manifest, the things that you have been saying that you wanted. And it may not come, it may, but it may not come the way that you imagined it, but that's the beauty of life. And you never know, you may get something bigger and better that like it's your dream and then more, right? Your things and then more. And the reason I say this is because this is about to go conjunct tomorrow. I'll show you the screen in just a minute. Venus, the north node. Look at all of these. The north node, Chiron. So Chiron may make you, I told you that's a wound, but that's, you may be jolted for a second. You may be jolted for a second. Or it may have caused you to pause and be like, oh, wow, I can't believe I'm here. But you kind of see where it can be more open. You kind of see that it's not the way that it was last time. It's a wound, and the wound we don't heal. We learn to work with it, and in that becomes the healing. I'm going to do a video specifically about Chiron, and I have done a video saying the difference between Chiron and Pluto, because Pluto's trauma, okay? That's hurt. They're both hurt, but one's a wound, one's trauma. This can be relieved, released, and this is released in a different way, okay? So tomorrow, today, you may have gotten news because we have Mercury, but it's all going on your new path. This is something that you've been wishing for. This is something that you've been really wanting. This is something that you've been trying to manifest. This is something that you have been dreaming of, been envisioning, been seeing the way that you wanted it to be. Hold on just a second. I'm sorry. I'm a lefty. Sorry about that. Okay. So as this has been approaching the north node, you may have gotten news. You may have seen some things, like I said. But this is Venus. This is your worth. This is your resources, your money, your and when I say your resources, it's like what's come from you, right? So this could be opportunities coming to you. This could be, and because it's Mercury right there also, I think it's like news, or it's a way, or it's a thing that you see, okay? So that's what's kind of going on now. That's going to be, like, this is really important here. And this is all in Aries. So wherever Aries is for you, that's a focus point for you guys, right? That's a focus point for all of us. That's where Aries is. But we have this over here coming on Wednesday. That's tomorrow, okay? And that's the big thing. So I would like for each of you to think back. What was I doing in 1990, at the end of 96 into 97? And then in 2010 to 2011? Because the last time these two were here, it's every 14 years. So if you can think about, like, I think it was like February of 97. Yeah, so like the beginning of 97, the end of 96, that's when these two were conjunct again, conjunct. So if you can think about what's happening in your life at that time, and then think about what was happening in 2010. I think it was the spring of 2010, 2011, 2000, maybe even some of you 2009. Some big events that happened, because this is Jupiter and this is Uranus. Okay, can y'all see that? Um, and the other, and I'm going to go over this in just a second. The other thing, because this is just for today, the other thing is Pluto. Don't forget about Pluto, right? He's aspecting. He's talking to this this group of people, this group of part of you, right? He's talking to them. He's like, don't forget about this stuff. Don't forget about really. It's almost like when you see this stuff, you're releasing this stuff. That's what I feel like. I feel like as this stuff comes to you, and as you become brave, and as you, I don't think you become brave. I think you've always been brave. You just kind of get sidetracked sometimes. We all do, right? And then if we think about it and tell ourselves the truth about ourselves, we're like, you know what? I can handle. I've done well. I've done really well. As you're doing that, some of you will realize that's the generational stuff. I'm just going to give you a scenario. I have anxiety because my whole family's had anxiety. I have, whatever, heart attacks, or I have depression because it's been in my family. I have, anger issues, or I have whatever these traumas are, abandonment. And I've done some of my Pluto series. As soon as I get settled in, I'm trying to work on the rest of the Pluto series. I got about 5 more houses to do. Um, but this is really, really important, because he's talking, and I'm seeing that as you guys get through this, as you say, yes, I am doing this. Yes, I've been okay. Yes, I am stronger than I thought I was. I can do things that I didn't think I could. And I don't have the stuff in my head telling me I can't, and I'm not worth it, I'm not da da da, all of that. Like, I think a lot of us are realizing that. And as you're doing that, that's releasing this, okay? Pluto this is as far as he's going to get right now, is the 2nd degree. Okay, so he's really talking and having you release this stuff. And that's why the Pluto series was so important to me, because I knew this group could do this. I knew that you could do this. This is what I was being told. It's time to release this stuff. So for right now, he's going to be this is as far as he goes right now. And then this is why this is important, because we have Mercury retrograde, right? So we are reevaluating, reassessing, redoing, readjusting, right? That's what we're doing with the Mercury as we're processing, as these gifts are coming in, as this Chiron we're seeing. We're like really thinking about that stuff. We're really processing that stuff. And as Pluto is talking to them, and we're releasing that stuff, and we're realizing that's my generation. That's my DNA, but that doesn't mean that that's all of me, right? Like, I no longer have to do that anymore. I no longer have to worry about that anymore. I no longer have to be afraid anymore. I no longer have to have that trauma anymore. He is about to go back into Capricorn, and we talked about this. And this is why this is important, because Mercury is going to end retrograde on the 25th. And then so right now, all these things, don't be afraid. Take your chance. Do your thing. Make your choice. Don't sit in it. You're going to have all summer and next fall and next winter to sit in it if you want. Right now, whatever comes to you, you make the choice. Be brave. Do you. You've done it before. You can do this. I believe in you. I know that you can do this, because the 25th, he goes direct, right? And then you got 7 days before we hit Pluto retrograde, which reassess, redo, rethink, readjust, all of the re's, remember? But not only that, from that point on, we are going to have a retrograde. A planet is going to go retrograde in July or June. Two of them are going to go retrograde, but a planet is going to go retrograde all the way until December. So every month, a planet is going retrograde. So we are going to have in the winter like 5, 6 planets retrograde. So we are really going to be feeling that, oh my God, why can't anything move forward? This is why I want you to take your chance now. Do your choice. But this is not something that you go after. This is something that's coming to you. So right now that things are coming to you, right now that you get an opportunity, take it. Because every month after this, once this goes retrograde, remember 25th, 25th, Mercury goes direct, and then we got 7 days, Pluto goes retrograde. And then I'm going to go over all the other planets and their dates of going retrograde, okay? So this is going to be kind of a long, that's kind of why I wanted to get started. But so for right now, we've got Mercury retrograde. It's talking to all of these. Be brave. Do your thing. And then tomorrow, sorry about that, but I have to switch. And I think, yeah. I'm learning. Just like everybody else, I'm learning. Okay, so tomorrow, everybody see that? Okay. Everybody see that? Okay. Tomorrow, this is the conjunction. This is what all the astrologers have been talking about. This is what the buzz has been going on. Jupiter, the planet of luck, the planet of expansion. This is why all these things that are coming about, all these choices that you're having to make, all this fearlessness that I know that you have. And again, look at this. As these are conjunct, because this is Jupiter, it's going to make bigger in the sign of Taurus whatever's going on with Taurus and Uranus. It's going to give you opportunity. It's going to give you luck, but it's also going to make things bigger. And you know Uranus, y'all know I'm my chart. You know Uranus rules my chart. So you know how it can change. And you guys have already seen this. Like I've already seen, it's funny, today I was watching some TikTok and one of my favorite creators passed away, and it was a shock. And that's what I kept hearing. Every other creator that knew her was saying, "I'm so shocked. I'm so shocked." And I was thinking Uranus and Jupiter are already starting because they were together, right? But they're going to be exact tomorrow. Okay, this is why I want you to see or try to remember what was going on, like at the end of 1996 to 97, and then in 2010, 2011. And if you can see a pattern of what changes were happening, like start very general and then you can be specific in your life. But if you can see a pattern, because this is the same sort of area that was happening at those times, okay? I know for me, one of them was a move. And guess what? I just moved, right? And it was to some, but when I think in 2000, no, in the 96, 97, we had moved to someplace I'd never been before. And here, this is the first time I'm moving to someplace I haven't been before, right? So, at least this area. So, just kind of see how that plays out for you guys. Wherever Taurus is in your chart, Taurus is he's my second house, right? You guys know that I've talked about that. But this, because it's Taurus too, on a global scale, that's the reason some of y'all haven't been sleeping The reason you're getting up so quick, or you're getting up in the middle of the night, or you're getting up real early, is that Uranus and Jupiter, because you can feel something coming. The storms, I'd said in the other live the other day, we're going to have storms, we're going to have volcanoes, we're going to have all of that. Anything having to do with Taurus, right? This is expansion, and this is Uranus, shock and awe. Okay, so go back to your natal chart. You can get it free on astro.com, and go look and see where Taurus is. That's the area of life that you're going to be affected, and it is a very prominent one. And again, think back to 2010, 2011, 1996, 1997, because these transits come around every 14 years. Does all that make sense to you guys? I hope I'm not talking too fast, but it's going to be a long one, okay? And like tomorrow, you can see the moon is really aspecting here, okay? So don't be afraid, especially right here and right here. Can y'all see this? That's the sun, that's Chiron, that's Mercury. But the moon is going to be talking to all of them. So your emotions are going to be involved, okay? It is a good aspect. So this is a good aspect. It's not a bad aspect, but it is something that's like I can feel like it's heartfelt. Oh, I just took a deep breath. It could be some relief for some people because I just took a deep breath. I feel like a relief for some people. And it could be about this right here. Okay. And tell me if I'm writing too much, because this thing's kind of cool. I like it. Anyway, so back to this. Now remember, we still have Saturn over here, Mars, and Neptune. Okay. Saturn and Mars, that's the upheaval. That's the ideas that everybody thinks is theirs, that's correct. That's why we're seeing war. If you saw today in Dubai, they had a storm, they're flooding. I mean, it's Dubai, right? It's unexpected. It's shock and awe. It's expansion in Taurus. Does that make sense to you guys? You can see that on a global level. We still have, look at Pluto. He's over here talking. He's going to be talking to us for a while, okay? So we can't forget him. I've learned to work with Pluto. Don't forget him. Even though all this other stuff's happening, don't forget him, because you'll work better if you don't forget him. Okay? He's nothing to be afraid of. He's just going to show you. And so that you're not surprised, don't forget him. Does that make sense to you guys? It's not going to be bad for Gemini, is it? So let's see. Gemini would be in the second house, right? So if you're I'm sorry, it would be your 12th house. So let me say that you can have unexpected, because this is your 12th. If you're a Gemini ascending, rising, this is going to be in your 12th house. The 12th house you can't see, right? But remember, like Pluto's in my 12th house right now, okay? It's not like, here's the thing I was getting, because I'm really trying to I'm working with the 12th house myself personally. And what I'm getting is it's not for you to see. It's for you to use your other talent, your other gifts. So you don't see it coming, but then you use your gifts of intuition. You use your gifts of resources. You use your gifts of meditation. You use your gifts to work with whatever happens, right? It's not like you're unequipped or ill-equipped. You are very equipped, each one of you, especially if you know me, have worked with me, you're equipped. You have worked, you have done. How many classes did you take? How many things have you learned? How many videos have you watched? You're equipped. You can do this. So Gemini's 12th house, right? So when it happens, it's going to make your 12th house bigger. Gemini has an issue, and I'm not saying every Gemini, but my son's a Gemini, so I know this can be an issue. Gemini has an issue of trying to downplay and only look at the good parts when people do them wrong. Okay, that's just an example. Okay. So maybe it's time for you to learn where your boundaries are, even though you didn't see it coming. Does that make sense? Like, that's just a scenario that comes to mind. Okay. If you are a Taurus, it's in your first house. That's all of you. That's your identity. That's going to be expanded. That's going to be changed in some way. A lot of Taurus ascending are not acting like they usually act, which is a good thing. They're learning to adjust and move and see and expand. Expansion, remember, right? And then Aries, right? Aries, this is going to be in your second house. So your resources will get bigger. Um, Something can change automatically. You may get a new position. You may actually, if you started I don't know, if you started a business, all of a sudden it takes off from nowhere. That can happen. But you've got all this stuff that you're dealing with here. You have to take the action. You have to make the choice. You have to think about yourself, right? And Pisces, this right here is going to be going on in your third house, right? This is where your skills are. So you're learning something. Your neighbors, your uh, it's not your everyday stuff, but it's the people around you and the relationships around you and your skills. So you're learning something here. You can get opportunity here, but it can be jarring. It can be all of a sudden it's like, whoa, whoa, what do I do? Right? So, and then Aquarius. Aquarius, this is first, second, third, fourth house, right? This has to do with your roots. This has to do with where you came from. This has to do with maybe an understanding. Maybe you finally get to know where you came from, or that you're not like them, or that you want to be more like them, right? Whatever this is, and this could be your siblings as well, okay? So you could be dealing with siblings as well. And then Capricorn, that would be your fifth house. So I told you, Capricorn, you're on the road to marriage for some of you. And I know some of you haven't dated in a long time, but still, I feel like a big enough energy of Capricorns, they're on the road to marriage. So this could be where you meet somebody. This could be where you see, oh, that is the man for me, or that is the woman for me, or that is the relationship that I want. And it could be unexpected because that's Uranus. It's going to throw you, for all of us, it's going to throw us for a loop. It's going to make you, it's jarring sometimes, but it's not, sometimes it's a good jarring, sometimes it's our perception. Do we take it as a bad jarring, or do we take it as a good jarring? It's kind of up to us, right? Some of us are more adaptable. We can move easy. We're like, okay, next thing. Others of us, that's really trying for us, right? Some people don't like to move so quickly, right? And then Sagittarius, that's your sixth house. So your sixth house is going to be more prominent. Your sixth house is where your opportunity is coming. Your sixth house is, and that's your health and well-being. That's your everyday life. What are you incorporating? You are the master of understanding what's above and bringing it down from other realms. Higher knowledge, right? With it being in your sixth house, you may actually be able to implement what you're doing. You may actually have the idea, oh my gosh, there it is. I can do this. And then get the opportunity, right? Don't forget about what's going on in your fifth house. Your fifth house, you're trying to negotiate. You're trying to figure out. You're trying to move forward with. For all of you, it's the house before, right? Then we have Scorpio. Scorpio, that's your seventh house, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So meeting somebody, partnering with somebody, this area of your life is going to be highlighted. This area of your life, and something jarring can happen, something that's unexpected, and it can be in a good way. But it could also rattle you. It just depends on how you, or have you been ignoring the signs? Have you been not seeing? Have you been not dealing with? Excuse me, it's kind of up to us, right? What have you been doing with your life? What have you been ignoring? What have you been too scared to take advantage of? What have you been, yeah, too scared where an opportunity comes and you're like, I don't know if I want to do that. You gotta like be a child with this. Like a childlike attitude, and just know that your experiences that you've been wanting for a while. We've been talking. A lot of y'all have been wondering for the last 3 4 years, how are we going to do this? What are we going to do? And then things stopped moving, and then our talents were redirected, and we had to learn a different thing. And now is that time. Now is that time that we've been asking for. Now is when Mother Earth, the universe, your higher self is like, this is the exact time that you wanted all this to happen. So don't be afraid. Do it. Right? Then you have Libra. That's your eighth house. That's like your partnership or um, contracts with banking systems, with investments, with any of that. That's the eighth house. That's you. That's getting bigger. And that can be jarring too. I'm sorry, I'm putting all that stuff in there. That can be very jarring to you. Sorry, this keeps moving too. Yeah, that could be very jarring. It could be, maybe you feel like you're not ready for it, but you are. You are. You've been dealing with this. All of us have. Now's that time. For the next 4 to 6 months, opportunities are coming in, right? Opportunities are coming in. They're going to start slowing down as the retrogrades happen, but opportunities are coming in. So right now is the time. And especially now, it's funny how we do that because Mercury is retrograde, which means as the opportunities come in, oh, this was something I thought about a long time ago, right? You can be thinking that, oh, this is something I thought about a long time ago. That's Mercury retrograde. Oh, this is something that's actually going to come through. Okay, that's okay to do that. Reevaluate, reassess, right? As things come to you. And then we have Virgo. That's your ninth house. Virgo, your ninth house is being expanded. Your knowledge, your understanding, your, yeah, you're taking from what I thought I knew, but there's more. That's kind of how I see Virgo with this. But that something could happen that's very jarring. Something could happen that just turns everything around for you. Okay? But that's kind of up to you. What have you been doing? Have you been active and really paying attention, or have you been ignoring? Right? That's kind of what's been going on with you. Then we have Leo, right? Leo has not had it easy either. Leo, Aquarius, Capricorn, they've not had it easy. None of us have had it easy. What am I saying? Like, none of us have had it easy. But Leo really had some come to Jesus moments. Like, really, okay? But Leo, this is your 10th house. I told you, you're on the road back. You're about to get back to that. That's your expansion there. And if you can think about what happened in 96 and 97, what happened in 2010, because that is what's happening here. It's doesn't have to be repeated the exact same way, but it's sort of the same themes, right? So your 10th house, you're being acknowledged. You're going to get accolades. Something could jar you. Maybe you get it bigger than you thought you were going to get it, right? Maybe it went a different way. It went to the left instead of to the right, right? That's Leo. Then we have Cancer. Cancer, that's your 11th. Your 11th. Your groups, the and this is the internet as well. So your networking system, your groups, all of that is going to be highlighted, but something jarring is going to happen, Cancer. Like maybe you see that you didn't want to be, that this group almost fit what you wanted, but then they didn't. And then you find another group, or another group finds you. Your social group is going to get bigger. It's going to be focused on. And for Cancer, it's time to find the right people. You're finally clear about what you want. You've gone within, and it's finally time. You know, you got all this clearing, and then you're like, well, where is everybody? Where are the good relationships? Where are the really deep relationships? Now's that time, Cancer. And then we've already talked about Gemini. Okay. So tomorrow, this has already started. Y'all saw this. I told you globally, you've already seen it. Dubai having the weather problems. I told you we're going to have volcanoes, we're going to have tsunamis, we're going to have, storms, we're going to have all of that. Does all that make sense to everybody? Okay, so remember, Jupiter is luck, Jupiter is opportunity. But sometimes when we get an opportunity, we're so afraid that we don't want to move. And especially Taurus. Taurus has to think and think and think and think about it. Like, well, not just think. He's got to feel it. He's got to make sure. He's got to, like, he's very, well, he's the bull, right? So that's not an easy planet to be here, Uranus. It's not an easy planet that's in Taurus. Taurus is kind of fighting. But this time around, I'm seeing that a lot of Taurus have actually are like, yeah, I can do this. Yeah, I'm going to do this. But whatever it is, it's going to highlight this. Okay? So Jupiter, opportunity, luck. Uranus wants to shock you. It wants to take you in a very different direction. It wants to rebel. So rebellion is another word. Okay? All right. Now we go to, see, I talked about Jupiter Uranus conjunction. That's tomorrow. Venus in the North Node. You've got stuff coming right here. You do have stuff coming, and you have stuff coming here. Like, look at that. You have stuff here. You have stuff here. This is all the universe, Mother Earth, the universe, your higher self saying, here's your gifts. We want to give them to you. Don't get stuck on the past. Don't get stuck with what's happened before. And if you want to think about what's happened before, think about it all the way through, that you actually came out of it and you were resourceful and you did the thing for you and you learned something new and you don't want that to happen again. Does that make sense? Okay. Then here's the April 20th. I just kind of wanted to look at that. Look at all of this. Oops, sorry. Let me make this a little bigger. Okay. Don't forget about Saturn. He's going to make you work hard over here, especially with Mars. And this Neptune, I'm telling you, this is about idealism. This to me, I'm just gonna say it because I said I'm not gonna keep anything anymore. This to me means warring. This to me means upheaval. This to me means like, it's my idea, and this I'm thinking on a global scale, okay? But with all of the stressors happening, with all this stuff happening, you have this in the background. Don't forget about these. Because Mars, Mars, and Saturn wants to make you work for it. And Saturn is like, it's going to take time. And Mars is like, I want it right now. And Neptune is like, what I say goes, because I can make it look like it, right? This is why we're seeing the downfall of celebrities. I haven't gotten to do the Saturn in Pisces video, but this is why we're seeing the truth of things. But as they get closer, if we don't know ourselves, if we didn't do the research, if we haven't looked within, if we didn't investigate, she's illusionary. She wants to make everything look okay. Okay, so you have this in the background in the other areas of your life as this is going on, right? But again, do not see the square. Do not forget Pluto. You're still working on your generational stuff. You're still working on your past life and future life stuff. Okay? And yeah, the 20th. This is when they go exact. This is when the big happening. This is all of that stuff that I explained before. You see how the moon, the north node, the south node, remember as we're releasing, we're coming through. All of the stuff that I've just been talking about As we're doing that, we're moving through this north node. Remember, and it's not going to be easy because we have this Chiron, but we have all this help. So yeah, it's not going to be easy because it's the Chiron, but we have all of this other help. Do you see how the universe helps us? The energy helps us, right? It's to move through here. It's to get to that phase, space, path, whatever you want to call it, that you have been wanting, that you have been dreaming, that you have been manifesting. That's even before you started to manifest, that you have come here to do, that you've come here to be, that you've come here to experience. Does that make sense? Okay. And then, so the 20th, by the 25th, and then we have 7 days, right? 7 days, and then May 2nd. Here we go. Pluto is going to retrograde. That's why I'm telling you, do not forget Pluto. He is very important in our lives right now. Not just in our personal lives, but in our society lives, in our generational lives, in our past lives, and our future lives. He is very important, okay? So, he is going to begin to get retrograde. He is going back into Capricorn. Remember when I told you guys, if you've been watching me, I said he's moving into, Pluto's coming into Aquarius, and Aquarius was only at first letting him go into the living room, and that's where he had to stay. This time he's moved his clothes in, but he didn't bring everything, and Aquarius is sort of letting him in a room besides the living room. Aquarius is adjusting to Pluto being there, and then I told you, remember, this summer he's got to go back and finish things up with Capricorn. That's why we're seeing the deaths. That's why we're seeing celebrities die. That's why we're seeing famous people die. That's why we're seeing, I told you, structures are coming down. It's going to end, okay? Structures. I'd said this before. If they don't change, if these systems do not change, if they cannot adjust, then they will fall, okay? That's what this last part where Pluto is going to go back into Capricorn and finish up, and then he's coming back here for the next 20 years, okay? About 19, about that time, okay? So, yes. So, I'm sorry, I just kind of looked at your stuff. As That's why I'm saying to pay attention to Pluto, because when he goes retrograde on May 2nd, do you guys remember what retrogrades are? This is when we're going to be rethinking, readjusting, reacclimating, reassessing, redoing whatever's been going on over here. Okay? This is the time that these systems, that are the systems that we are in, the systems that we want, this is that time where we're rethinking. Do I really want that? Do I really want to invest in that? Do I really want to participate in that? Do I really believe in that? That's what's going to be going on the personal level. But on a global level, it's readjusting, reassessing, all the re's, right? So, that's going to be happening. That's the first retrograde. So that's retrograde. Well, that's the second retrograde because Mercury goes direct, and then 7 days later, Pluto, right? So I already did the Pluto series. I'm not going to go over exactly what Pluto does. We know about this. You can go look at my other videos. I'm finishing when I can because I'm adjusting too. I had to move too, but a lot of you guys know that. So you can go look at my other videos to really get a handle on what Pluto is. And to me, I think of it more as the house that Pluto affects than the sign. We can get clues by the sign, but it's more the house when it's on the personal level. It's like, what area is it that we're trying to understand, release, grow through, okay? So you can go back and look at my videos for that. But that's when Pluto goes retrograde. Okay, that's May 2nd. Now, Pluto will be retrograde from May 2nd, sorry, from May 2nd till October 12th. So we are going to have a long stint with Pluto here. And a lot of things are going to be happening during this time globally. But this is to prepare us for this new age, this new Aquarian, Aquarian energy. It's forward. It's very forward. I told you we're going to have a lot of things go forward fast, right? As well as dealing with all of this. This is why I need y'all to be clear now. This is why I need you to take advantage of the energy as it's working for you now. So as you see opportunities, don't get scared. Take them. Do it. Because this is just the beginning. This is a long retrograde, right? But it's because he's finishing up over here. So October 2nd. Then, and hopefully, I will have done the Pluto, hopefully I'll finish and been able to, I don't know why I can't move that. Let me try it this way. I'm going to cheat. No. There we go. Sorry. Okay. Hopefully I'll get the Saturn in Pisces video done because that one's really important. So, then June 29th. Okay? So we're going to have Pluto retrograde. Mercury's come out of retrograde. So we're going to be thinking about the Pluto stuff. And then on June 29th, we get Saturn retrograde. Okay? So all of these belief systems, all of this understanding, all of this clarity that you're seeing, this is why we're seeing gurus, religion, all of that come down. We're seeing if they're not, if they don't have integrity, if they have not done the right thing, if they, oops, sorry, I need to edit. Sorry about that. I'm still learning. This is why we're seeing this this Saturn in Pisces. This is why we're seeing the downfall of all of that, okay? But guess what? It's coming back around June 29th. So, it's going to feel really, like for me, I can explain it as it feels kind of sticky. I don't know if that makes any sense to you guys. Some of you it'll make sense. It feels like molasses, like, oh gosh, like that energy is just, right? Pardon me. Let me drink something real quick. So, because we're not only going to be dealing with Pluto here, we're going to be dealing with Saturn now. We're going to have to rethink, reassess, readjust. All of the redo with Saturn, because he's going to start retrograding back over this point. So pay attention to what's going on in this area of life. So wherever Pisces is in your chart, that's what's going to be redone, reassessed, reassembled, as well as Pluto. Okay, and that is from June 29th. Oh, sorry, I gotta take another drink. From June 29th to November 15th. Okay, so we got all the summer and the fall and into winter to deal with Pluto and Saturn. So do you understand what I'm saying? Now's the time to do the things that you need to do. Okay? And then we're going to have Neptune here at 29 degrees. That's a very important degree. And the North Node is getting closer to here, right? So, I mean, it's not close, but it's still getting closer to here. But then we're going to be dealing with Saturn retrograde, Pluto retrograde, from June 29th to November 15th. Now, I will do a live on each one of these and do it for each sign. I think that's the way I'm going to do it. And that's what we'll be working on. And then on the side, I'm going to try to finish up the Pluto and start the Saturn series. Okay. So remember, Saturn's father time. Saturn wants you to, he will reward you. He will reward you a lot. But he needs to know that you're responsible for it. He needs to know that you're ready. That's what he needs to know. Okay? Then July 2nd, so that's May, June, July. So we got July 2nd. This is where it's going to get really sticky, okay? Because July 2nd, we have Neptune at 29 degrees going retrograde. I told you, 29 degrees is an important degree, okay? We're finishing up. Neptune is finishing up. And yes, Neptune goes retrograde back and forth, but this is a really important degree, okay? And not just that, but we're going to have, so if you guys know, the North Node and the South Node always go retrograde. They go around this way where everything else goes this way, because these are just points, okay? So that's why you'll always see retrograde on here. That's just kind of a little side note for you guys. So Neptune is going to be retrograde. So we are going to be reassessing. So the things that are happening right now with these celebrities, with these systems, with these structures, with this thing, Pluto is going to retrograde and have you rethink that, relook at it, look at it again. But Saturn's also having you redo as well. So by July, I told you it's not going to be an easy summer. It's going to feel like last year. Maybe even more so, but this year y'all are going to be clear about it. So you're going to have to be redoing this area of life, and you're going to have to be redoing this area of life, but you're going to have this. You're going to have help. You're going to have help, right? As Uranus and Mars move together, and then Jupiter comes over here, and then you have, Venus. You do have help, and I'll explain it more when I do each of the planets retrograde, okay? But just know, this area of your life is going to be reassessed, re-looked at. This is why I say that, my belief is and my beautiful friend Lorna always says, what's for you will always find you. It'll never miss you, right? This is why I feel like that. So whatever maybe opportunity that you didn't take, it may come up again with these things. It may come up again. Maybe you felt like you couldn't do it right now if something comes to you, but you're going to get another shot. This is why we have retrogrades. You're going to get another shot at it, but it's not going to move easy. Where now it can move easy and fast. Sorry, my throat's getting dry. Where right now it can move easy and fast. In these retrogrades, things don't move fast. So you will get an opportunity again if you decide not to take an opportunity now, but just know that it's going to be harder work because you're going not with the moving forward energy, you're going with energy going this way. Does that make sense to everybody? So check your chart and see where Pluto, check your chart. Everybody should know, if you've been following me, where your Aquarius is, where your Pisces is. Check all of these, because that's the area of life that's going to be reassessed right now, right? Through the summer. Then we have July 26th. So let me go to the next one. So, sorry guys, thanks for bearing with me. So July 26th. And y'all can thank David and Lorna, because they've helped me so much set this up. They've helped me so much with everything. I love them to death. They're both like, I'm not going to let her fail. I am so blessed to have the people around me that I have. Okay. Then July 26th, right? So and Neptune is going to be July 2nd through December 7th. And again, I'm going to do a retrograde live on each one of these planets separately, but I wanted us to kind of know where we're going. This is kind of how I do it when I'm looking at charts, or looking like what's coming up in the future, right? What patterns are coming up in the future, and then I get down, then I get channel messages and stuff. Um, anyway, that's just a side note. Okay, so Chiron. So Chiron, whatever happened here when Chiron was over here and talking with this North Node and getting us through this thing, it's going to give us one more opportunity because Chiron is going retrograde from July 22nd to December 29th. So that wound is going to come up again, but it doesn't have to hurt. Remember, it may be that if you've dealt with this wound this time at this time period when this solar eclipse happened and you moved through this North Node, I'm just giving you a scenario. It could be that I did take the action. I was brave. I trusted myself. I trusted the universe. Whatever it is that you did, and you worked with this wound. And this is on a global level too. Are we learning our lessons? Are we understanding better? Yes, we do have a problem with food. We have a problem with housing. We have a problem with people saying that we don't have enough, you know. But are we learning? Because this is going to come up again. And it's going to have us reevaluate and reassess and redo, right? It's going to give us the opportunity. And maybe we didn't take the opportunity then, but maybe we're going to take it this time. But we're going to get the shot July 26th to December 29th. Now, look at this chart. We're going to have Pluto, Saturn, Neptune, and these are heavy planets. This is why last summer we were like, oh, why isn't anything going through? Right? It's going to feel kind of like that. But I think that our perception will be different because you're going to be aware and you're going to be like, yeah, I got this. Yeah, it's going to go a little slow, but I got this. Right? So we're going to have, and look, it's at 0 degrees retrograde, Pluto, Saturn, Neptune, and Chiron. So we are going to be reassessing all of this stuff that has been moving forward, all this opportunity that comes in. And that doesn't have to be a bad thing because maybe, let me think of a scenario. Maybe it's in your 10th house and this area is your 10th, 9th, 10th, 11th. And so, okay. So I got the opportunity to go to, I'm just giving a scenario. I got the opportunity to go to school. And because I go to school, I'm going to get a better position. And guess what? It's a bigger position than I even thought of. But I'm not really sure if I want to take that because of whatever. And then when all of this happens, maybe you're reassessing. Okay, I've done the job, I did the schooling, I know what I'm doing, I feel a lot better, but I'd like to focus more on this area in my job. I'd like to focus more on this area. And you may get opportunity where they're like, you know what? You seem like a better fit over here than over here. This is just a scenario. Like, it doesn't have to be a bad thing. And then you find out because you're moving through this North Node, oh my gosh, this is stuff that may be hard for some people, but for me, it isn't even hard. So I'm working less, I'm getting paid double, and I'm much happier. Like, that's the stuff that can happen, right? It doesn't always have to be a bad thing. It's your perception. How are you taking this, right? So that's going to be happening. So Chiron, we're going to be dealing, that wound is going to come up again. I'm just letting y'all know. And then we have this trauma over here that we're reassessing. And then we have this really, really working and being clear and authentic. And then we have, I'm sorry, I heard a guy say, then we have the tomfuckery sometimes over here. Sorry. It's like she wants to make everything beautiful and she wants to have the illusion, but that's not gonna, it's gonna have her reevaluate that stuff, okay? So I'll just leave that part there. It's just something I heard. And then guess what? Then, because so you guys know Mercury goes retrograde 4 times a year. Sometimes 3, but a lot of times 4. Okay? So Then we're going to go to August 5th. We're still in the summer. I told you it's going to feel really in the summer, but I don't think it's going to be as bad as last time, because last time a lot of us were like in our real feelings and then reassessing, did we even know what we were doing, right? This time we're a lot more clear. This time we have that North Node involved. So August 5th, then we have Mercury go retrograde. So there's Mercury going retrograde. It's going to go in Virgo. Okay? Sorry. So Mercury's going to go retrograde in Virgo. Right? I'm just thinking, for me, that's kind of dangerous. So we're going to be reassessing, redoing, reevaluating communication again, right? Is our truth the truth, or is it just the truth that we think it is, right? That's kind of that Mercury retrograde, because it's got Venus there too and the moon. Yeah, I kind of feel like it's going to be a deeper one, but we'll talk about that later. So by August 5th, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 planets retrograde. Our bigger part of our life is going to be about reassessing at this time, really thinking, really redoing, pivoting, restructuring, all the re's. Okay. So, and it's heavy. It's going to be a lot. Like, it's going to be, okay, is this how I want to see it go? Is this what I really believe? Is this what I want to do? Is this how I want to be? Is this the relationship I want? Is this the partnership I want? Is this the business partnership I want? Is this like all of these things? With this, for on a personal level, like, this pattern seems to happen all the time. Why does it been pattern? Why has this pattern happened again? I'm releasing this, and that's what I feel like you're going to be doing here with this Pluto. But on a global level, it's going to hit hard. Okay? Does all that make sense? All right. And that Mercury is going to be from August 5th through the 28th. Okay? So, y'all are going to be so glad that it's, like, usually we're like, ugh, Mercury retrograde. But with all these other retrogrades, y'all are going to be so thankful that Mercury only went retrograde for a little bit. I mean, yeah, he comes back around, but it's just for a little bit, right? And I think it's to process all of this, because the moon and Venus. So I feel like, look how he's talking over here. I feel like when I'm just looking at this, I'm like, y'all got some stuff coming here. Like, we've got not just releasing, but emotions. I see gifts. I see the big thing coming. I see, all of that. I see it as gifts coming through. I see it as some of the finality of some things, right? Like, oh, finally that thing came through. Oh, yes, that's going to happen. Oh, goodness, that came from nowhere. Like, that kind of stuff. That's Mercury retrograde here with these two, and he's talking over here, right? Especially over here too. Look at him over here. Okay? So that's August 5th to August 28th. Now, this one I'm a little bit worried about. I'm not going to lie, I'm a little bit worried about this one. So then we have September, right? So I told you, there's a retrograded planet going retrograde every month from now until December. I mean, from May 2nd till December. Well, actually from now too, right? So then we have September 1st, which Uranus. So Uranus is going to go retrograde. Here's Uranus. Sorry. Did I do it like I was supposed to do it? Probably not. Hold on. Okay. There we go. All right. Then we're going to have Uranus. Uranus is going to retrograde right here at the end of Taurus. So he's still going to be in Taurus. This is To me, on a global level, we're going to see some stuff happen. Okay. It's not going to be as big because we won't have Jupiter there, but it is going to be a reassessment of that. So maybe what we thought we saw, because we have Neptune over here with the tomfoolery, maybe what we thought we saw on a global level, we kind of get shocked about, no, that's not what it really was. You know, we could have that coming up, we could have that going on. But in our lives, whatever was happening with this big conjunction happening on the 20th of this month, the one that I talked about earlier, this is reevaluating that. This is reassessing that. This is redoing that. This, and whatever's going to go on a global level, we're going to be reevaluating, reassessing, redoing, pivoting, all the re's. Okay. Now look at this chart. 1, 2, 3, 4. So Mercury went out of retrograde, but then Uranus came in. Okay. 5. Sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we've got 5 retrogrades. So this side of your chart, we're going to be reassessing. This part of your life, we're going to be looking at again. And this has to do with this North Node. This has to do with as you're releasing, as you're taking the action, as you're making the choice, as you're reassessing, as you're redoing. It's like you get one step closer through that door, through that North Node, to your ultimate journey that you wanted to have. Does all that make sense? All right. So there can be some shock and awe again, but this is more internally. So I think when Uranus retrogrades, it's more about what we've already seen, what the shock was, and then us reevaluating it. Okay. So it's not like where it was before, where you're going to see, like I said, it's upheaval, it's warring, it's like what we're going to see, because we're going to see something. But this is reevaluating that. And I do feel like it has something to do with, see how they're talking? Excuse me, this has something to do with us not seeing it correctly and reevaluating it and actually seeing it correctly. Does that make sense to people? Okay. So that's Uranus. So that's from September 1st all the way to January 30th. Uranus is going to be retrograding. We are going to really be reassessing our lives, reassessing how we see society, reassessing how we see this earth, reassessing how we do things, reevaluating, readjusting. All of this, again, it's internal, but we're making the choices. Does that make sense? So it's a long retrograde because I'm telling you, it has to do with us going through here. Okay. Then October 9th. So whatever we had happen, October 9th. Look at this chart. I have to laugh because what are you gonna do? You gotta laugh about it, right? It's that Saggy part of me. And some of you Saggies know. It's like, what are you gonna do? Laugh or cry? Might as well laugh about it. Okay, so October 9th. Then we have the Jupiter retrograde. Okay. So there's going to be some big understanding, some big shifts, some big, yeah. I feel like your growth is bigger during this time. Like coming to terms with, like, settling into your choices, settling into your life. Like, because these will have been retrograded for a while. It's like, okay, now I'm getting in the groove of what I'm doing. Now I've already reevaluated this, and as something comes in, I'll pivot a little, but I kind of know the main focus of what I'm trying to do or trying to be or trying to see, or with society on a global level. It's like, yeah, we're coming to terms with all of this stuff. And I think when Jupiter retrogrades, we're going to have like this bigger understanding, and some past opportunities could come to us, but this is more about this bigger perception, understanding. It's almost like I feel like we're coming to peace with this. Does that make sense? So, but look at this. If you're ignoring, if you haven't done the work, if you're getting frustrated because things aren't going your way and blah, 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 like we were last summer, right? If you're in that, then you've got work over here to do. Okay. If not, I feel like some peace and understanding and resolutions can come because we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 planets retrograde. Now, I think a lot of you are like me, especially. I think we've talked about this before. I was born with 7 planets retrograded. So this energy is okay for me. It's not the best, but I know how to work in it, right? This is why I'm telling you guys. This is why I'm showing you this, because you can work in this and it can be to your benefit. Does that make sense? Now, I'm not thinking special because I have all these retrogrades. What I am is stubborn, because apparently I'm coming back to do all these again because I was stubborn, right? So that's not something that needs, it's not something that I'm proud of, but it is who I am in other lives. So we're going to have all this. This is where, if you guys remember, I think it was September, October, no, August, September, and the beginning of October, where we were, all of us were like, oh, like maybe even July, end of July of this last year, 2023, sorry, that we were like, oh, nothing's coming about. I'm trying everything. I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, and nothing's coming about. Like that could be this energy that you're feeling if you haven't seen me. If you haven't prepared, you're going to be having that feeling, because that's like, look at all those planets retrograde. And this is all to get you here. And isn't that funny how now we have the Par of Fortune? Now, what's really funny is the day that I was going to go on live, I was going to do the Par of Fortune and explain that to you guys. Because I had a whole thing that I was going to tell you guys about the Par of Fortune and how to work with it. But I had to move. So I got uprooted. So just know that this is your best point to get things through. Does that make sense? So that's why I feel like you're going to have some relief, some peace, some understanding, some resolution. I do feel like resolution. Okay. Now it's a longer, like all of them, they're longer retrogrades. Because that's from October 9th to February, October 9th to February 4th. So it's a longer retrograde. But that's because the universe, our higher selves, kind of knows exactly the time that we need. Some of us will do it faster. Some of us are stubborn and will do it later. Y'all already know how stubborn I am. I just said 7 retrogrades when I was born. So I'm stubborn. I've learned not to be anymore. But it's kind of how you decide. If you're seeing something, if you see the red flags, as you like to say, as people like to say, the younger generation, if you see the red flags and you're not paying attention and you're ignoring them, well, guess what? That's not going to be peace right away. But if you're seeing it, you're seeing me, you're coming on the lives, you're getting some understanding, you'll be prepared for this, okay? Because this is not an easy energy. This is not. But it's not going against you. Don't feel like this is going against you. It's here so that you get the chance to reevaluate and make sure that's where you're headed. That's where you want to go. That's the thing that you want to do, right? Okay. And then on, where is it? November 25th. Okay. Remember I told you guys, Mercury retrogrades mostly 3 times a year, but sometimes 4 times a year. This year he's gonna do it 4 times a year. So, oops, I did it again. Sorry. Still learning to work with this thing. Okay. Okay, so we got Mercury retrograde, and it's going to retrograde in Sagittarius, right? So Mercury retrograde is going to be happening from November 25th to December 15th. This is about, I think, processing all of this. So you're coming to some peace here, and then you're coming to some understanding here. Does that make sense? And look how they're opposite, right? But I don't think it's just this. I think it's this. See how he's talking? He's talking to all of them. He's talking to them. He's talking to that. See how he's talking to them? He's like, let's get you some peace. Let's get you some understanding so that you can have this peace. Let's get you somebody saying something and mirroring you so that you understand better, so that you come to acceptance from your choice and some peace. Does that make sense? Okay. Can everybody still hear me? Is everything still okay? Because I haven't seen anybody type. I don't know if it's because you're just listening to me, but I just want to make sure that you guys can still hear me. I'll give it a second. Okay. All right. So Mercury retrograde, November 25th through December 15th. Remember, he's going to help you process a lot of these things. He's going to give you some understanding so that you can have this peace, this bigger. Yeah, I just feel like you're more clear. That's what I'm feeling, the energy. Again, I'm going to go over every one of these retrogrades in a, like, each of them, give them a live, and we'll go into each sign. We'll see how it's aspecting and all that. But I kind of just wanted to give you guys a roundabout about what's going to be coming up, because this is not an easy energy. Okay, then we have our last retrograde. And then we'll be like, whew, we did it. And our last one is this doozy here. So we have Mars retrograding. And look at the degree. It's a 6 degree, but it's right by that 0. And you know Mars, he just wants to do what he wants to do. Okay? So December 6th through February 24th of 2025. That's how long we are going to be retrograding. And then I think he's the last one. Yeah, he's the last one to unretrograde. Yeah, I think by the end of February is when we'll finally be free. Like, it's going to be, by the time February 24th comes along, some of these are not going to be retrograded anymore. So we're going to feel a little bit easier. But this is where we can stumble. So if you think about, like, we've been being held back, we've been restricted, we've been rethinking, we've been recessing, we've been all of the re's, right? And then all of a sudden, the energy is progressing forward again. Because as these come to station direct, right, to go direct again, it's energy. It's like a thrust of energy. All of a sudden, you're like, ooh, and you can kind of misstep, right? So think about it that way. Like, if you're being held back and then all of a sudden somebody lets go and you're pushing, you can misstep. You'll be like, oh, you kind of misstep, right? So just remember, as these go, as you're coming to some peace, as you're coming to some understanding, things are going to start feeling a little faster. But Mars retrograde is going to make you rethink, did I put my boundaries? Did I do the right thing? It's going to have you rethink that stuff. Am I looking out for myself? Did I find the right resources? Did I make the right decision? Did I do all of that? And it's internal. And for me, when I feel like it's internal like that, you can find people, because we're all going through this retrograde, who are aggressive unnecessarily, or it doesn't make any sense to you, right? But it's because we're reassessing our ego. We're reassessing our actions. We're reassessing, we're redoing all of that. Does that make sense? So that will be from December 6th to February 24th. And then we're done. We're going to be into 2025. It's going to be this is why I'm doing all this work. This is why I really need you guys to know, because I've already said this and I can start saying it now. I've already said it, but I'm going to do it soon. Being impressed upon to do it soon. I have told y'all since 2023 that 2025, yeah, I don't even know how to explain it. 2024 is about the change. 2025 is about, I can't even explain what I'm seeing. I guess I can't really explain. I guess I'm not really supposed to say it yet, because I can't even conceptualize what I'm seeing. I've just seen since 2023, it is not going to be easy for most. That doesn't mean everybody. And I am doing my best, and I know everybody around me is, and everybody that knows me is getting prepared, is getting ready. For what? We can't say yet, but just know it's going to be here. It's going to be about Aquarius. Sorry. It's going to be about Aquarius. Look at this. It's going to be about some major changes that we're having to, and some of us, if we know, because you've been watching, because you've been doing, because you've been releasing, because you're very clear, because you trust yourself, because you know you're the resource, because you know you have your community around you, because you've been working on that, all of that. For those people, for us people, that's not going to be scary. But this is the time where people are going to look to you in 2025, because they're going to be lost. They're not going to know what to do. They're going to be afraid. And this is why I'm doing this. One of the reasons, because they are going to be afraid. It is not going to be easy for a lot of people, but for some of us, it's going to be easier. If we can get through 2026, we're good. It's going to be a lot better. Okay? So that's all I have to say about that. Get ready for all these retrogrades. We've got the big conjunction coming tomorrow and the next day and the next day until like 7 days. Think about what you were doing in 96, 97, the end of 96 and into 97, and then 2010 to 2011. What were the themes going on? That's that Uranus, Jupiter transit. That's that conjunction. So if you can think about what was going on, I'm sorry, my throat is dry. If you can think about what was going on, then it's going to help you better prepare and see what's going on personally. On a global level, I told you, it's in Taurus. We're going to see storms. We're going to see volcanoes. We're going to see tsunamis. We're going to see maybe all of that, maybe only 2 of that, but it's going to be disruptive. So don't be afraid. Remember, let me say that again. We can all be afraid. Don't sit in the fear. Use the fear, because you've done this before. All of you are prepared for this. All of you are seeing much clearer. All of you are trusting yourselves. So you can be afraid for a second, because it is jarring. It's Uranus, right? You can be afraid for a second. You can even use the fear to motivate you. Just don't sit in it. Just don't dwell on it, but acknowledge it, and acknowledge that you are afraid when you are afraid, right? But use it. All of you are capable. You're more than capable. You are all old souls. You can do this. Okay? Anybody have any questions before I go? because my throat is dry. And I hope you like this setup. Let me know if you like this setup. I know I won't be able to show you my face, but at least we'll get some stuff done where you can hear me and we can communicate. And I hope this was very helpful. Again, I'm going to do the next, like, several lives where we're going to go over each of the retrogrades per sign. Sorry. Pardon me. I don't know why my throat got so dry. Maybe it's stuff that I needed to say. I'm not sure if you guys can still hear me. I'm going to get off soon. My throat is really dry. And I will be on, the next time I can be on is Saturday. All right, everybody. Well, I hope this helps. I'll be on next Saturday, or this coming Saturday. You are so welcome. Thank you guys for joining me. We're still looking for a place. I'm still looking for a place. So keep your love and your light towards me and getting a place so that I can unpack my computer and get all this done better. Thank you. Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure. I love you guys. I love you dearly. I am very blessed. Very, very blessed. And I will see you next time. Bye.